Hi, welcome to Pauley Builds. Today we have a set directly related to the Mandalorian Season 2. As a matter of fact, it's coming from the very first episode. That episode is entitled The Marshal. The Lego set is numbered 75-99 and it's called Trouble on Tatooine. The episode actually takes us back to Tatooine, big surprise, and it's based out of the little city called Mos Pelgo. Din Djarin goes there and finds himself in the bar in Mos Pelgo and immediately runs into the Marshal. The Marshal comes in wearing Boba Fett's armor, to which Din Djarin is not happy about as soon as he removes his helmet. He finds that a non-Mandalorian is wearing Mandalorian armor and he wants it back. Right as it appears they're getting ready to get into a Western-style gunfight right in the middle of the bar, a crate dragon pops through the surface outside the bar, flails itself around, and I believe it eats a bantha that someone had ridden into the town. I'm not 100% sure on what it ate, but I know it definitely scared everybody. Between the two of them, they realize that they've got a mutual enemy or a thing that they need to handle. So they come to an agreement about the armor. Mando, Din Djarin, will help get rid of the crate dragon, and in turn, the Marshal will give the armor back to Din without a fight. This episode absolutely bleeds the old Western filmmaking that it was based off of. We have two heroes who don't necessarily like each other, but they realize they have a common goal or common enemy. We have the townspeople that hop in and help both of our heroes throughout the story. And then we have the Indians of the story and the Tusken Raiders, a very misunderstood people all the way through the entire story of Star Wars. However, earlier on in Season 1, I believe, you get to see how Din Djarin can communicate to the Sand People or the Tusken Raiders. He can communicate through sign. Later on, we see in the Book of Boba Fett that they are actually just a people that want to make sure that they protect what is theirs and rightfully theirs from the very beginning. Very much of the Indian settlement here in the North Americas. As the episode continues, we see our two heroes, the townspeople and the rugged Tusken Raiders, take on the crate dragon outside of its cave and win. It's an exciting series of events that lead to the crate dragon's death. When I heard the word crate dragon too, and they mentioned somewhere in the episode that crate dragons love to eat sarlacc. I remember Boba Fett fell into a sarlacc pit, so it makes me wonder, or at the time it made me wonder, if that's how Boba actually ended up getting out. In turn, once we got to the Book of Boba Fett, we realized that that wasn't the case. Anyway, let's talk about the Lego set. It's a representation of Mando, Grogu, the speeder he rode into Mos Pelgo, a sand creature or Tusken Raider, and a catapult weapon that they have, as well as a tent that the sand people would have lived in. The set comes with 3 minifigures, Mando or Din Djarin, Grogu, and 1 Tusken Raider. I had hoped that maybe the Marshal would have been included in the group of minifigures. However, I think it was going to be kind of confusing to print another Boba Fett armor on a different person. Anyways, let's talk about it more when I get it completed. Okay, so I finished up with the Trouble on Tatooine set, and it's fun. I mean, It's kind of hard to go wrong when you have Mando and Grogu dangling off the side here, riding along on a speeder that actually uses some unique parts to make things work. They've actually got pistols for his hand controls up in the top. His large rifle gets clipped in on the side. Very interesting. They did also give Mando, because at this point he hadn't been seen at all by any of the other characters anyway, the blank face, which is actually really neat. I did appreciate the cape as well on his neck. I don't remember that specifically, but I haven't watched that episode. These are actually making me want to go back and watch that episode. So at one point, I probably will. Actually, I'll probably go back and watch them all before the third season comes up. Then you also have the sand creature, the Tusken Raider. He has his gaffy stick, which you find out in Boba Fett is actually quite the piece of equipment. You also find out in this episode that they use that gaffy stick to do things like clean the teeth of their banthas and things of that nature. So this is kind of their multi-tool almost. Neat looking little guy. Then you also have one of their huts. The hut, of course, broken into how Lego likes to do roofs in a circular formation. You have all the flexible pieces, or the pieces with the hinges on them, and they can actually bend over and bend around and make the solid piece. Neat little thing with the fire pit in the middle, and gives you the concept of places to sit and talk, however the sand people do. Excuse me, Tusken Raiders. Then last but not least, and almost most importantly, you have their cannon or catapult. I'm not quite remembering this part of the episode, but I'm sure it is directly related to something in it. I like the usage of all the different parts, all the clips and all the arms and all the wheels, and they used a pistol back here in the back to represent their trigger, and definitely a really neat looking little part. Then having the wheels up here in the front that actually give it the idea of, hey, we're gonna roll it around, you know, we're gonna move this thing to a different location. But definitely a neat little set, fun to do, always great with Lego. The imagination and the ability to hook things up in different ways that you wouldn't have thought of. I mean, again, I say it over and over again, my imagination isn't this good, and the guys at Lego are great at this stuff, coming up with new ways to hook things up. Robot arms to be able to hook these wheels up here in the front. And of course, we have our launcher. Let's see if I can. Hey, that wasn't too bad. Almost got it. Only missed it by about an inch. I've got to reload. But a fun little set. It was great to do. I'll have the time lapse over on the shorts to watch. Definitely fun. It'll be a great little collector up on the shelf. But overall, this is a fun set to have. Just like almost every other Lego set out there, they are fun to have. It's a great reminder. I love the Star Wars ones, mainly for the fact that they tell a story. They're a part of a story. When we get to the Imperial light cruiser that I have, it is a great reminder of Moff Gideon and his ship and the Dark Troopers, and that whole episode coming out of the end of Mandalorian Season 2. You have all the iconic characters of Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan Kryze and Din Djarin and Grogu, and I'll have to look at the set again, but you have Luke Skywalker and the Dark Troopers, and that set is just a story. And that's what all these sets have. They have story behind them. That's my favorite part. For me, it's my favorite part. When I look at the shelf and I think of all the things that are back behind me, I can see the story involved in all of the Star Wars ones. Nathan's cars are fantastic. We love doing those Speed Champions, but for me, the Star Wars ones tell a story, and that's what I like more than anything. Story is what matters. I will sit down and watch Star Wars all day long if given the opportunity. well, I might watch YouTube all day long. That's actually been proven. Anyway, Star Wars is so much fun, and the story as they're creating it is great. These Lego sets, albeit even small ones, tell a part of the story that is just fantastic. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the time lapse and my ideas on this set. Go build some Legos and have fun with your family.